Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit. So today's session is on staff at dementia facilities being loving and compassionate and how we can help that. Actually, we can help, interestingly enough. I mean, the thing is that, first I'd like to say that staff that work in dementia facilities are kind, caring people. I mean, they would not be working in a dementia facility unless they were. But in terms of the next step, in terms of being loving and compassionate, you know, you've got to be present for that. You've got to actually be focused and present to be able to be loving and compassionate. And for that, to be able to be present, staff need to have the time to be able to, you know, sit for a few moments with the resident and talk to them in the morning, for example. But if you're rushed and flat out and stressed out, it's very hard to be loving and compassionate. I mean, you can still be efficient and kind in a sense, but you're not going to be able to have that calm, you know, loving resonance that you'd have when you're in the present moment, when the stress is down. So, what not to do and what to do in this situation in terms of being able to help staff be loving and compassionate and having the time to be loving and compassionate with their resident. Okay, because they all have about 9 residents each, don't they? So of course they're going to give that special care to them when they can. Now, what not to do? Most relatives are good that visit, the ones that do visit. Not everyone does visit, but those relatives that do visit, most are good, very good. But there's the occasional one, thorn in the side, that does this sort of carry on, and it actually is quite disruptive for the unit and stressful. You know, so they stand at the front nurses counter. I've seen this so many times. They plop them elbows on the nurses counter, plop themselves there, just like talking to a neighbour over the fence, and they just go on and on and on. You know, why is mum doing that? Why is she doing this? What's happening here? When's the doctor coming? What about the cardigans? What about this? What about that? What about everything? You know, like the charge nurse who's flat out trying to get the medications done, the dressings done, the doctor's going to visit soon, whatever else. And here's this woman going on and on. And it's like, because they just feel entitled now, don't they? They're paying for mum to be here, aren't they? Right. Okay, that raises their status in society somewhat, which maybe they haven't had all throughout, or maybe also because of their behaviour and personality. You know, it's a bit off-putting when people just go on and on and on for often no reason, just sort of, you know, badgering, really. Anyway, so, you know, this creates stress because already there's so much to do for all staff in a dementia facility, and then you've got another person leaking out half an hour of time, and you know, and then getting on to stuff like, well, where's mum's earrings? You know, I mean, we've been, you know, you've lost the earrings. I mean, where's mum's earrings? Who wears earrings in a dementia unit anyway? Or, you know, where's mum's gold bangle? I mean, gold bangle, you don't bring gold into a dementia facility. Costume jewellery, yes, but you know, these are the things. This is where education comes in, isn't it? You don't bring in gold and diamonds, do you, into a dementia facility where anything can get pinched by wandering residents at any time, consciously or unconsciously, taking, you know, the glittering looking jewellery and just stuffing it anywhere all throughout the unit. You know, 40 rooms, you wouldn't know where it is. So that's why costume jewellery is the best way, no gold and diamonds. And also why I've done these books, you know, at the end of each of the books are the epilogues on explanation of all these things. But actually, common sense reigns as well, doesn't it? And the other thing is that helps a lot is, rather than being like, you know, this person at the desk who just goes on and on, saving time of the staff so that they can have the time to be able to sit down and have that loving, compassionate conversation with your mother, considering their time and saving their time through a number of ways. Okay, so I'll explain. First thing, observation. Rather than questioning at the desk, observe, and you'll get to know who the charge nurse is, who the clinical manager, the doctor, the carers are. They've got their names on their uniforms. Observe that. Get to know the names, get to know their shifts, when they're on, you know, when the doctor's meetings are, etc., etc. Observation, you can pick up 80% through observation alone rather than having to question at the desk. That's one thing. Second thing, if you make a friend with someone at the unit, a lady, say your mother's, say, 80, and which many of them are, and there's another daughter that comes into the unit at a similar time that you do to visit her 80-year-old mother as well, and indeed both mothers have become friends, perfect. Then you can sit around and have a little, you know, cup of tea at the table and things like that, because then you can exchange notes, you know, about what's happening at the unit. Same thing, same questions, you know, why is the cardigan got all matted, and do you actually have to hand wash the cardigans? Well, yes, you do. You don't send them to the laundry because everything comes back a matted mess, you know, and that the new carer that your mother has, all about her, and, you know, what's her name and what's she like, and just general questions. There's always lots of stuff that you need to know in a dementia unit, huge amounts of stuff, and it's always changing. Staff are changing, residents are changing, names are changing. So anyway, if you're two heads is better than one, and so you can exchange notes. And also, if your new friend there, if her mother has been in the unit longer than your mother, then you get all the historical knowledge, you know, about where the sugar is, where the knife is to cut up a bit of the scones, you know, if it's locked away in a cupboard, where to get the keys so you can get the hot water to make yourself a cup of tea. You know, why can't you get the keys? You know, who's likely to have the keys? Etc., etc., because everything takes time in a dementia unit, even though everything's flat out. Oh yes, something like trying to get the keys to unlock the hot water cylinder so you can make a cup of tea can be a major mission. And so maybe you've worked out to bring the hot water in a little thermos flask in your bag of activities. Much better than trying to find the key and running around. I mean, you can always get tea bags and cups and stuff. Usually the fridge is open so you can get the milk out, but you can't get hot water because it has to be locked so people don't, you know, scold themselves. Okay, so see, now you've done all that. You've done all your research, you know, you've helped the charge nurse because you're not questioning her. You've helped the carer because you're not having to question her. And you're just left with the essential information of, say, medication is always the thing, isn't it? You have to ask the nurses and doctors about that. So yes, the medication for your mother or specific cares that are becoming problematic, discuss that with them at the nurse's desk as you need to, and especially be prepared to ask informed questions at the 3-monthly doctor's meeting. And if you feel that you need to know, you know, sooner than that, request for a special meeting. But other than that, for general questions, general information, you can work it out through observation and getting to know the other relatives at the unit. And in this way, the nursing staff will be less stressed having to answer your questions and deal with that. They'll have more time to be able to spend with your mother. They'll, you know, be less stressed, more compassionate, more loving, having that time to be kind to the residents. And so that's how you can help be part of a more settled community. So thank you. That's the end of the video today. Thank you for your likes and your comments and your suggestions, because I am putting these suggestions into these videos. And it was the comment on love and compassion, the recent comment, activated my intellect thinking, yes, love and compassion, indeed, I should have been speaking more about that, because actually love and compassion underlies everything, really, you know. But still, we have to, it's good to bring it up and to address it specifically, because, you know, so much is involved in terms of this whole subject of being kind and compassionate in a dementia unit, and it will flow more easily when we're loving and compassionate. Everything flows, doesn't it? You know, everything's much nicer and easier and more settled when there's love and compassion. It's a beautiful experience. So that's it today. Thank you for everything, your likes, your subscriptions, and I can see the channel is just quietly creeping up, and I'm really excited about it and grateful to your support. Thank you.